Now, internal polling published in today's Fairfax papers suggests the federal government faces significant losses in Queensland, including the seat of Treasurer Wayne Swan. One of those Labor MPs under threat is the member for Moreton Graham Perrett. He told Fairfax the opposition leader has stopped making trips to his electorate, saying, "There was a time when Tony Abbott was visiting more times than my opponent, but he seems to have deserted Moreton." Maybe these supposed polling results show why this is so. And the member for Moreton, Graham Perrett, joins us now from Parliament House. Graham Perrett, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
So why do you think he's given up visiting? Because it's a done deal that Queensland will be the coalition's?
No, well, I don't know. I'm not privy to the private polling, the Labor polling. So he doesn't seem to have. You know, the policy announcements that he's made for Queensland seem to be focused on the north side. He's got money for roads on the north side, nothing for Cross River Rail, which would actually benefit the south side of Brisbane. So it's a strange approach,
Is the internal polling true? Does it ring true to you?
Well, look, I've sort of worked on election campaigns, local, state and federal, since 1997. In that time, I wouldn't think that there's anything like the mood on the ground that would suggest the figures that the polls are producing. Now, my electorate's a bit strange in that there's some school being proposed to be closed down by the Liberal National Party government. They've also got a proposal to put more coal trains through my electorate. So locals are quite concerned about issues that they'd want their federal member to make representations on their behalf, to go in and fight for them. And obviously the Liberal and National Party candidate is running away from these decisions.
So you don't see the mood on the ground, either generally speaking in Queensland or more particularly around your seat, as being that negative for the government? That's not your impression? That's
right. People are very concerned because they've seen what austerity delivers in Queensland over the last 13, 14 months. Small business people are worried, retailers are worried whether people won't pull their wallets out, because we've seen what Campbell Newman can do with a tough budget and with austerity. So I guess that foretaste of what an Abbott government would do worries people. I've got a lot of public servants that live in my electorate that were either sacked by Campbell Newman or are fearful of being in the 20,000 that would be lined up and taken outside under an Abbott government. People can remember what happened in 1996 and are rightly concerned. So the mood I get on the ground is a lot more positive than the polls would suggest.
You don't think that the voters are capable of looking at the situation when it's in relation to state government and separating out what the federal government has or hasn't done and making a judgment that way? You think they're just looking at the situation in their state and seeing all of politics as one just miasma?
Oh, no, well, Queenslanders have always had that capacity,
Of course, I would assume all voters have that capacity.
Yeah. Well, Queenslanders can deliver Beattie and Howard. Queenslanders can deliver Joh Bjelke-Petersen and Bob Hawke. We've always had that capacity to look at issues. But at the moment, we've got a very, very powerful Lord Mayor, Liberal National Party Lord Mayor, very, very powerful former Lord Mayor who's now the Premier. So if you had a triumvirate of Liberal and National Party people, bringing that old white shoe Gold Coast style politics into all over my electorate, people would be very terrified. They've seen what's happening in our national parks. They've seen the agenda in terms of getting rid of our vegetation laws that actually let John Howard meet the Kyoto Protocol targets. So they're very worried. Anyone under 40 who's concerned about the future is terrified of what an Abbott government would deliver.
It's not necessarily what the polls show this morning, but I accept that as your point of view of someone who lives in Queensland. You, of course, hold your seat by a margin of 1.1%. Is it fair to say, Graham Perrett, that really no matter what happens in September, you've lost your seat?
Well, my bosses are the people that live in Moreton, not the pollsters. So I'll listen to the people of Moreton. I fell in love with democracy long before I signed up to the Labor Party. I always respect the wishes of the people in Moreton, but they do know, the people in my electorate, they've got someone that is prepared to fight for them, someone that will speak bluntly and never misrepresent the facts. My opponent is a professional spin doctor who has worked for all sorts of organisations and worked for Alexander Downer and Santo Santoro. So if they want a spin doctor to represent them, well, they'll make that decision, and so be it. I know what I stand for and what I can deliver.
You said famously, of course, the worst thing you ever did was be part of getting rid of Kevin Rudd, and that you'd never do that again, be part of removing a leader. Has your view changed?
Well, I'm focused on tomorrow. My comment was about being disloyal to a leader. That was something that happened a long time ago. That's not. Tomorrow's about what we can deliver in the future. Yesterday, I'll leave to the historians to make an analyse and the politicians.
Just one last question on that and about tomorrow. Would you be doing better tomorrow, and would Queensland be doing better tomorrow if Kevin Rudd was leading?
Well, as I said, I'll leave that to the former politicians and the political commentators. I don't think there's any shortage of them around at the moment.
All right, good to see you this morning, Graham Perrett. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, Virginia.